Joining us now to discuss is Mark Trammell, CEO of the Center for American Liberty and an attorney. Mark, thank you for joining us. Now, first, so far, the actual court records haven't been publicly released. So, we can only speak on the currently available information until we know more. Attorney General Pam Bondi said 4 people, including Don Lemon, were arrested, and that those arrested were part of a coordinated attack. Does this part, coordinated, make a difference in this case, in your view?
Well, I think it depends on which federal statute the charges have been brought under. So under the FACE Act, whether it's coordinated or not, if someone interferes with an American's access to either an abortion clinic or a house of worship, they can be held in violation of the FACE Act. If we're looking at the Klan Act, that does encompass this conspiracy, this idea that if you conspire with others to deprive Americans of their constitutional rights, then you can be in violation of the Klan Act. To your point, we don't know exactly what Don Lemon has been charged with yet. These records have not been released as of the time of this broadcast. So I think we're all waiting kind of on pins and needles to see exactly what charges have been brought and perhaps even what information we're not privy to yet through social media and through legacy media, but maybe the Justice Department has uncovered through search warrants as well.
So, Mark, I want to talk to you about Don Lemon's actions. His attorney said that his work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has done always. So he called the arrest an unprecedented attack on the First Amendment. So based on what we know, based on public information, videos, clips, is that what you're seeing?
No, I think that's pure gaslighting by his attorney. The First Amendment doesn't give a journalist the right to enter into a house of worship and to intimidate congregants and to shut it down. Under the FACE Act, that is illegal. The FACE Act would also prevent Don Lemon or any other person who identifies as a journalist from entering into an abortion clinic and shouting in the faces of women who are seeking an abortion in that clinic. Both acts would be illegal under the FACE Act. There's no super right as a journalist. And that First Amendment right of the press extends to really anyone who is seeking to report on a story. It doesn't just extend to people who are credentialed by legacy media. So if someone wants to, on like a public sidewalk, record what's going on and report it, that's protected activity so long as it's peaceful. What's not protected is trespassing and violating federal law. And it looks like, based on the information that we have before us today, based on videos that have gone viral, that Don Lemon went too far and beyond what the scope of the First Amendment protects.
So it looks like we actually have the charges now. DHS actually emailed NTD citing these charges. So let me just read this to you, Mark. Don Lemon is being charged with 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy to deprive rights, and 18 U.S.C. 248, violation of the FACE Act, interfering by force of someone's First Amendment rights. Can you just interpret that for us? What are these charges? What do they mean? And what are the consequences?
Yeah, so the FACE Act, it protects access, Americans' access, both to abortion clinics and to houses of worship. The penalty for violation of the FACE Act, first time violation, is punishable by fine and or up to a year imprisonment. The conspiracy to deprive Americans of their constitutional right, that's the Klan Act. And that's a much more severe penalty. You can actually go to prison for up to 10 years if you're found in violation of the Klan Act. So the fact that Don Lemon has been charged with violation of both of these federal statutes is very significant.
So do you see this case having wider implications of this high-profile arrest for future protests and for setting the boundaries on what is and isn't acceptable with these anti-ICE protests?
Well, I think that any time that the law is enforced, it's intended to also have a deterring effect, right? We'll see how that plays out in Minnesota. there's a lot of protests happening in Minnesota that are far beyond what is protected under the First Amendment. And I think so long as people are getting away with it and not being charged, they're going to continue to break the law, and they're going to continue to riot, and they're going to continue to destroy property. And we have to hold them accountable. So I'm pleased that the Justice Department has taken this issue so seriously. It appears as though they've done their due diligence. They've investigated this, I would imagine, through search warrants, and we'll see what happens in trial. But I think this is a really important step forward in protecting every American's freedom of worship.
Okay, Mark, really appreciate you giving us your analysis on this situation. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.